All right, all right, all right. Yo, what is up, everybody? I am super excited for today's stream. Um, I am super excited for 11:43. It's gonna be a good one, I can already tell. I haven't gotten spoiled on anything, so that's good news. Um, Thank you guys so much for all your continued support, liking the stream and subscribing, all of the good stuff. I just really appreciate that you guys do all that. Um, Thank you guys so much for helping my TikTok grow and enjoying all of the card opening that I've been doing for the One Piece TCG. Um, I really love collecting the cards. I just got some back graded that I will be making a video showing my graded cards. So thank you guys so much for the support. Um, I have heard that 44 and 45, the chapters 1145 and 1144 are going to be coming out back to back, which is super awesome. And I plan on trying to get some cool collaborators for those chapters. Um, but thank you guys again always for showing up. um I see Riaset Chowdhury. What's going on? How are you doing? um let's keep this conversation going and jump into this chapter so we can talk about this. All right. So first we got this sweet double spread, like color, color panel here that's just looks so cool. It's all of the Straw Hats racing on flying fish from like Sabaody. Um, it says speed is the weapon. Luffy and Zoro are just like battling it out with and Chopper's on his back. Nami is over here looking busty. Um, Sanji's in the back with food. Um, and then you see Frankie and Usopp. They're teamed up. And then you see what looks to be Brook just like jumping off of his fish, and then Robin there in the back. And then Jimmy's just swimming it. He's like, I don't need to be on a fish just to do this. So that's super cool. That's a really cool little color spread here. Yeah. All right, Oda's notes. Oh, it says author note pending. So the note wasn't even ready. All right. Let's start looking here. And it says chapter 1143, God's Knights. And it says a sneaky move by God's Knights. What's happening to the kids? No, it's been a long day. And then you see Saul running after the kids and he says, yo, wait, stop. And he says, Yolva, Magu, Ranja, they really are sleepwalking. And he says, huff, huff, what's this white cloth? Where are the kids going? And Robin says, careful, Saul. That teacher warned us not to touch them. The one that was covered in blood. And he says, I know, but it doesn't look like there's anything nearby, and we can't let them keep walking like this. It's dangerous. And so he like lifts up his hand and says, let's just get him back to the school. And then all of a sudden, like this thorny something is wrapped around them and it just like punctures his hand. And he yells and he's like, yeah, it hurts. And he's like, what the? Saul, what happened? Did something stab you? And it says, I'm calling from the Walrus School. It says all our students just suddenly fell into a deep sleep. And 9 of them are walking away, but they're still unconscious. And it says Western Village. We have no idea what's causing this. The school children. Someone said, "My kid is there." It says, "That's not all. Mysterious beasts have emerged from the forest." It says, "Monsters. Are those types gonna be okay?" Hmm. Interesting. So originally I thought it was the arrow that was going to be attacking the people who tried to touch the kids, like to stop them from going. But it looks like there's like an invisible like thing of thorns around them. Really interesting. And it says the kids were heading towards the eighth branch. It says telediction snail, only used within Elbaf. And Nami says, all this on top of a fire? This is so sudden. Are they going to be okay? And Dewey says, what's going on over there? Hmm. It's a. What I like is the fact that the transponder snail is as big as Brooke and Nami and Jinbei. And it says the eighth branch. So they mean back there, right? Is everything okay? It says, our dish is awful. My great great granddaughter Yulvia goes there. They're just sloshed. And then someone says, great great grandchild. And then Nami's like, you're all way too drunk. And then Brooke with his fucking hat still, or his head still on his dong. It says, you can't lose your wits at a time like this. And he's so drunk, he's got his tongue out and everything. It says, woo, ding, 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 dong. Wow, that was quick. It says, a fire swaller has been dispatched. Go, fire brigade, we're counting on you. Hmm, interesting. So they have their own firefighters. And they're just like heading towards the fire. And then one of them looks and is like, huh, what's that? And a big skeleton wearing like a armor comes up and he's like, what? And it just smacks the shit out of him. Yo, that's crazy. That's like making giants look small too. And all the giants are like, what? And they're like, yeah. Did you see that? The look on the giant's face when the thorns got him? Talk about priceless. So this is Sommers or whatever his name is, and Killingham's the other one. It says, what was that expression again? Love is both roses and thorns, right? And he says, this beats me. It's like, you're such a stick in the mud, Gunko. The more love you have, the deeper passions thorns take hold. Hmm. And it says, it'll be even better when their folk show up, right? I love this game. And then it looks like Killingham, maybe? Oh. It says, if they try to hug their kids, the thorns will rip them to pieces. The brats won't even want to look at them after that. They'll be bawling themselves when they realize their folks died right in front of them. Dang. And it says, even murder can be moving. And it's Saint Summer's thorn fruit, a briar man. That's pretty crazy. I definitely thought he had a different fruit. I'm not gonna lie. So that means that this is Killingham's power to put them to sleep like that. and they have their dreams come to life. So the Kirin or whatever his fruit is like that. Hmm. And it says it'll be death by love. That's something to look forward to, am I right? And Dunko's just like quiet. It's like, come on, you're too stoic. It's pathetic. And Killingham says, Gunko, what route are you using? And she said, the central path. There are other thick branches. And then it's Gunko's like eating. And it's like library, walrus school. And then it goes down to the western village and to the harbor. But making them go that way will get them to the ocean clouds I saw by the village. Hmm, interesting. And Summer said, to be in the center is to be vulnerable. That's a harsh reality to face, especially when you're too helpless to move. And Killingham says, Summers, this needs salt. He's like, salt? And he like thinks about it. And all of a sudden he falls asleep. And it says, Saint Willingham or Killingham, however you say it. It says mythical dragon fruit, model Quillen, a dream materializing man. Interesting. It says Osbach rock salt over the connoisseur. You can wake up now. Mm. And he says, that's the ability you use to pull those dream demons out of the brats' heads, right? It says, of course, I can use it multiple times simultaneously. This salt is perfect. It says, I agree. That ship docked at the village is meant for the giants, but we should be able to make our own rainbows with a painter. And then he said, Gunko says, it's delicious. It says, what a peculiar culture. So when we've done that, we just return to the Holy Land and okay, so Aquilin. Now I want to look this up. Hold on. You know what? I am sorry. I did not put the chapter in the corner. Hold on. I am fucking up. Here we go. So it was the Quillen Dragon. The Quillen, also known as the Chinese unicorn or Kirin, is a mythical creature in East Asian mythology, often depicted as a deer-like beast with scales, a dragon-like head, and the tail of an ox, symbolizing good luck, prosperity, and benevolence. So it is the Kirin, kind of. Very interesting. Okay. Hmm. I wonder what it has to do with like dreams and stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting. Um, go to the Holy Land and um, all of a sudden his Summers is like, what? That's it? This game was way too easy. And Billingham says, I'm stuffed. Hey, is this 0 calories? And it's like, well, it was a dream meal. So of course it's calorie free. And it says, Summers, don't let your guard down. Trouble is brewing. I saw a certain pirate ship anchored at the village. Emperor Straw Hat Luffy is in Elbaf. Gunko knows what's happening. It says, huh? Hey, aren't the kids heading straight for the fire? It spread faster than I expected, but no matter. If they die, we'll just have the next batch march over. It says Loki. Oh, so we're about to pivot, but wow, they're really gonna send these kids to their death just because like fuck it? Like that's kind of crazy. They're like, whatever. It's like if they die, we'll just have the next batch march over, and I bet that the next line was going to be their corpses or something. And, and then it's now we're cutting back and says, Loki, you know good, and he's like, go ahead and try something, Haradine. Dogaha. There's no way you can stop me, Huff. None of you can even lift Ragnir. Okay, exactly like Mjolnir. It has to be the chosen one, and so interesting. The fact, I mean, no sympathy for non-celestials. Yeah, dude. Like the fact that they're just like, it doesn't matter. We'll just have the kids march over the corpses of their friends after they die in the fire. That's crazy. Oda really be like, let's turn the darkness up. Turn that darkness up. How you doing, Miguel? Um, but Loki now saying no, none of you can even lift Ragnir. I wonder if it is like a chosen one thing similar to Mjolnir, because I kind of just theorized that Ragnir is just Mjolnir and Ragnarok put into one. Gerd says we can't let you turn anyone else in the Sun Realm into a victim. And he says, oh, there will be victims. The flames are already spreading. Now choose surrender your weapons and let me go, or. And it's a huff, huff. And it says, hey, what's the deal with this monstrous giant? And Luffy says, he's injured. If we don't help, you will let everyone die? I'll slaughter every last weakling in the Sun Realm. The fact that he's talking about the people of the Sun Realm when we haven't even seen them makes me think that there's something up with that. Because there's no way that Loki's evil, in my opinion. Miguel said, I'm great. This chapter is a doozy. Oh, shit. I thought that we were already, I felt like I was almost done. I mean, I'm over halfway. I wonder what type of crazy stuff is going to be at the end of this. And Howard's like, Loki's like, if you don't answer, and it's like, wait, we get it. And he grins. And he's like, don't fall for it, Haradine. Roar, Zoro. And he says, I guess there's no choice. I promised if you did anything, I'd drop you. And he says, wait, Straw Hat, he'll zap you if you get near. And he says, I see. So that's your answer. And Gerd says, there's no turning back from a crime like this. Just stop, Loki. Think of the children. And Zoro says, Luffy, are you gonna let him off easy? His wounds are about to open up again anyway. And Luffy says, gum gum. Loki says, damn, I guess I lose this round. And he says, arm balloon. Interesting. And he just like, I don't know. It seems weird, right? And he hits him, and Hardine's like, what? And Loki just falls, and then Luffy's just there. Hmm. Damn, Luffy literally, I don't know, because the fact that he says gum gum arm balloon. Hmm. He didn't you your third, he didn't do anything. He just puffed up his arm. He didn't look like he dropped him like that. And Zoro's like, he was already at death's door. This is just standing was taking all the strength he could muster. It was a nice try. He probably planned on finding somewhere to pass out safely after he escaped. I doubt he'd have made it given the blood loss. And Zoro says, now it's up to you whether you want to treat him or let him croak. And Luffy says, I have unfinished business with him, but he was covered in blood. Rhoda says, it certainly looks like someone tried to kill him, and that's a separate issue from his prior crimes. And then he says, it's just a hunch, but could it be? Arudine, I have a request. Please save his life. I don't care what kind of person he is. I can't just watch him die. And he's like, mm. And Gerd says, how long for a full recovery? Several months at least. And he says, if we're serious about treating these wounds, he shouldn't be sleeping in a place like this. It says they won't be so forgiving at the village. It'd be a one-way ticket to execution. And who said that? He said, I don't mind staying here. And he says, their hatred really runs deep, but I guess we are talking about unforgivable garbage. And Luffy says, wow, those horns are the real deal. It's the mark of the ancient giants. Our father Harold was the same. And then he thinks back and he says, you are both my precious sons. I want you to get along while I'm gone, when I'm gone. What do and do what you can to support Elbaf. And he says, how can I call such a weak runt my big brother? You're just a bastard. You'll never be Dad's true heir. Parudine. It says, everyone knows you've got you. Everyone knows your mom's got dirty blood. And Harudine picks up his axe. He's like, whoa, hold it. Calm down, Harudine. He's like, there's no way I can ever forgive him. He insulted my mother and killed our father. And Loki says, do it already. This weeping warrior thing has gotten old. And it says, you're so drunk on all this personal drama, you can't even see the forest for the trees. It says, don't tell me you're really like the rest, thinking I actually killed our father in cold blood. You don't really buy it, do you? That's what I've been saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, really, bro? Like, come on. It isn't that simple. Yo, this is a crazy chapter. I like this though, but I he said thinking I actually killed our father in cold blood. So that to me, the way this is phrased, now granted, this is an official translation. So I can't really say one way or the other, right? I need to wait for the official translation to come out. But the way he's saying, um, don't tell me you're really like the rest, thinking I actually killed our father in cold blood. Like that, the way that's saying is like this was bigger than just like I didn't kill him because I just wanted to kill him. You know, it seems like there's a way that this, will show us what, this is. Also, I love Luffy just sitting on his horns. Super cool. And he's like, damn, these horns are the real deal. I also like how we see King Harold and we see his horns. Very interesting. Um, no, this is good, dude. This is a great chapter. I love kind of us getting shown these cool things that are happening. We get the reveal that of this dude's fruit, the briar, the thorn fruit, and the so this is super interesting because this guy actually has a dragon fruit instead of it being like a fish fruit model Azure Dragon. This guy's got a dragon fruit model Quillen or Kyrian, whichever you want to call it. So that's super cool. I also just like the way he looks. He looks very interesting. The fact that he's a mythical model and can literally just like take things like put something into someone's head, make them fall asleep, and then take it out of their dreams. It's super cool. Um, yeah, it seemed like Loki was bluffing in all this, but the one thing that I will say that's very interesting is the Sun Realm. He's talking about the Sun Realm a lot, and we haven't seen the Sun Realm yet. We've only seen like the Midgard, like the village on the branches. We haven't seen the top yet. So the fact that he's got beef with them is super interesting. Um, and the fact that Luffy was just like he like one tapped him just like real light. Um, and he just fucking long. Um, I also like I was like, who are they gonna get to fix him up? Loki up. And I'm like, oh yeah, Gerd's their doctor. That makes sense. Um, I'm I feel like next chapter we're gonna get some really good information, which makes me really excited to get some guests on here to talk about this because I've often been a Harold, King Harold denier, because I think King Harold is a piece of shit, low key. Get it, low key, but low key, you think he's the problem here. Want to know what I think about all this, especially, is you're meaning to tell me that the king of Elbaf, the ancient giant blood that he has in him, and everything else that goes into him being the king, so much so that he could change the way the entire village and Elbaf giants act by making them more peaceful, trading with the world and everything else. He could not change the actual like fact that Harding is treated like a fucking outsider. He couldn't just make it so that his kid would be accepted through laws or anything like that. He's fucking trash, trash character. He's dark. He's garbage. So that is why I think that Harold is the bad guy. I like this little flashback too, because we get to see Loki and he looks like Loki now. But when we got his silhouette, he looked nothing like this. And he was actually super kind. And in this, it's like his Hardin is being remembering him being a dick, but we've known that he was this kind soul. So very interesting stuff. I really want to know why his eyes are covered because his eyes are covered when he's a kid too. So I want to know why his eyes are covered now. So I don't know. It could be something about his father took his eyes or something. I don't know. We shall see. But overall, I like this chapter. I thought this was a great chapter. It's great for my agenda too, if I'm being honest. Lots of good stuff. Love the Haradine Loki stuff. Love him being like, you don't really think I killed him, right? The Thorn stuff was cool. The God's Night stuff. How big these skeletons and these monsters are in the forest, super cool. Their objectives and everything, super cool. Gunko just being lackluster, and then all of the Loki and Harudean stuff is super cool. Um, Love it. I'm gonna give this chapter an 8. I thought it was really good, but it wasn't everything that I wanted it to be. I really want more Loki stuff. That's just like what this chapter is like a build for me. It's building and it's getting me to where I'm excited for the next thing. Um, so to me, it's like an 8, 8.5. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, love seeing Loki with his hordes out and his hat off. Uh, so that's super cool. But yeah. So, super good chapter for me. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it too. Can't wait to see how this is translated tomorrow. But yeah, super excited for that. Um, but yeah, man. Thank you guys so much as always. Thank you, Chowdhury. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you for everyone in the live chat, and also please make sure to like the stream. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Please make sure you're subscribed as well. And if you had other thoughts, please leave a comment. You know, I love talking One Piece. I say it every stream, or at least I try to remember. One Piece is better as a conversation. And I've really enjoyed having that conversation with all of you. But after all, I will see you guys next time, next week. Um, and I will hopefully have some cool guests. So